Suck
wrestling's
my
the only
ass.
wrestling's the only sport
It's only sport you actually what?
I actually miss.
Oh, that you. Okay. They're
I'd
gonna
be
say something
ready
different
to
there.
take or leave playing under the Friday Night Lights again, but I'd love to get back on the mat.
They got a
Is there
lot of they
anything
got a
else like
lot of decent
rugby?
wrestlers down there.
You still play rugby
What in
consistently?
Florida? No, I don't. I don't think Florida teams play in the storm season. I think they only play in the spring, which I think isn't spring like a storm season anyways. It's like hurricane season down here in the fall.
Always hurricane season in Florida. What are we talking about?
I don't know. The websites don't have shit updated besides 2022 spring, so I don't know.
You really
Maybe they're
think
off on
Florida's
that.
actually got the infrastructure to update anything? They can't even update their roads.
Okay, but when you run a rugby team in like sanctioned division play, like you should. It's not that hard to have somebody to update your team website. They don't. None of the teams that are like within driving distance of me will tell me at practice time. I've sent emails to people. I'm just trying to play.
Dude just wants to play some ball. If you nobody anybody down in Florida has a rugby team, hit up the show at Bob and Bo Show on Twitter. Leave us a comment down below. Get us in contact. We got our email on the Twitter profile, X
I know there's
profile.
teams.
The man wants to play.
I want to play.
Let us know, man. I know some of y'all know somebody.
Well, I know somebody
The
in
closest thing
Florida.
to me is really bad. The Orlando team was like 0 and something last season. So
I know somebody in Florida that will no longer be playing football. It looks like, and that is Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis.
What sad news. What sad news. That the injury itself, the
We're
broken.
gonna go ahead and get a live reaction. So I'm gonna look up the video. Go ahead.
Yeah, look up that
Oh, I
video.
love this. This is gonna be
It's
gruesome.
while he's looking at it, I'll set it up. Florida State quarterback. He's in the Heisman running, most likely going to win the Heisman this year.
Nope, Jaden Daniels.
Whatever. Whatever. He was in the running for the Heisman. He was led Florida State to an undefeated season so far. They were looking like they were going to win the ACC and that they were going to get a berth into the college football playoffs. The best quarterback that Florida State has seen since Jameis Winston, at least, if not better than J-Bo. Like kid is good, and he had a lot of help. Don't get me wrong. He's got is it Keon Coleman
Yep.
down there at wide receiver, a guy that everybody should be looking at to be a part of your team, fantasy or your NFL team. But yeah, I mean just horrific news, and that just goes to show like we need to get rid of the hip drop tackles.
Yeah, because
Where we
that
at, Tybo?
was a gruesome video.
Okay, just found it.
All right, we just found it. Let's get a live reaction of Tybo here real quick.
Yo, his foot is sideways, dog.
Completely sideways, man.
What do you mean by hip? Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a hip drop. So
yeah, it's a hip drop. I got the slow mo right on the foot. Oh,
and he
dude.
he didn't even know that his foot was broken until he lifted his leg up and looked at it.
Yeah.
And noticed that his foot was sideways. He just held it up and it dangled, and he's like, "Oh,
This
yeah,
isn't
not
good.
good." No, and it's another hip drop tackle. And you know when it first came out saying that like hip drop tackles need to be outlawed, I was like, man, like you're taking away kind of from the game. How are you expected to tackle from somebody from behind, especially if they're much bigger? Because typically it tends to be a much bigger player on a much smaller player. And now we've gotten to the point where Travis has broken his leg that badly. You've got Mark Andrews, who's most likely out for the season. I think this week alone between college and NFL, there were 5 potential season ending injuries just from this one specific type of tackle. And it hasn't been used very often up until this year when coaches are actually teaching players on how to do a proper hip drop tackle, which 9 times out of 10, that player who is dragging them down ends up putting all of their body weight on the outside foot of the player they're tackling, and that's going to end up with either a broken leg, like Travis, not Travis, yeah,
Jordan
Travis,
Travis.
Jordan Travis, and or some sort of ligament damage that we see with like Mark Andrews. And it's completely illegal in rugby. That is in the bylaws. You are not allowed to hip drop tackle in rugby at all.
I mean, there's clear rules about dangerous tackling in rugby. There is not clear rules about dangerous tackling in football.
I
They're trying to
think
make the game safer. They're not making it safer with allowing this to keep going on like this.
Well,
no, there's
so the hip drop tackle is kind of a different point here, but I just watched. I want to bring this up in the NFL show because there's a whole continuous conversation around the NFL of like the make it safer versus just like this is the game that we play and we need to get back to the roots and let defensive players play. But yeah, I watched a video about the guy on the Broncos who's been fined like $900,000 this season or whatever. But yeah, check us out on the NFL show because I want to bring that up in conversation.
later
At
on
Bob
this
and Bo
week.
Show, all platforms.
Later on this
Subscribe,
week.
please.
Unsubscribe, resubscribe, share it with your friends, put on
We need
notifications.
4 more.
Don't start that bullshit. I
We need
listen to the
4
show
more.
where you said that shit all the time. Unsubscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe.
We also need 50 subscribers on YouTube to get Tybo's top 5 dance moves. We're 6 off.
6
We're
off.
6 off.
Damn.
Let's get it going, people.
In a while.
Make your burners. Make your
Tell
burners.
your friends.
Share it. We'll be back with the dance moves. Until next time. No.
Go Chiefs.